Good Shabbos and Chanukah Sameach. This is the 8th day of Chanukah, Zot Chanukah, very holy day. I want to share with you a teaching today from the Kedus Levi, that's Rav Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, on this week's parsha miketz. Levi Yitzchak teaches an important lesson in this parsha about the importance of giving the benefit of the doubt and judging others favorably. Kedus Levi explains that in the parsha, Yosef's brothers come to Egypt to seek grain because there's a famine in Canaan, similar famine to what's going on in Egypt. But due to Yosef's work in interpreting the dreams, they now have grain. They have grain in Egypt, and the brothers come to Egypt to buy grain from Egypt, and they didn't realize that their brother is the viceroy of Egypt, but Yosef recognized them. So Yosef talks with the brothers, and he accuses them of being spies. And he says, "You've come here to spy on the land." And they said, "No, we haven't. And they engage in discussion, and Yosef the brothers tell Yosef that they have a brother back in Canaan with their father. So Yosef says to them, "Okay, if you're not spies, then I want you to leave one of your brothers here as a slave to me, and then when you return, come back with your younger brother that you said is still in Canaan with your father. And this way I'll know that you're telling the truth and that you're not spies." And Yosef says to them, "Do this and live. I fear God. If you're honest, then you'll do what I asked you to do." So the teaching from the Kedus Levi is that it's instructing us on proper conduct. When we meet a person who opposes us, that we think doesn't like us or is against us, we need to judge that person favorably, at least in the beginning, right? And we need to assume that whatever opposition we're facing with this person is prompted by spiritual considerations and by his fear of God, not by any personal malice. In this way, we can forge a rapport with this person. As a result, the person will feel closer to us, and a peaceful resolution can be reached. And that's why Yosef tells his brothers, "Do this and live, I fear God." He was telling them that for them to thrive, they should believe that he feared God, and not that he was acting maliciously, God forbid, in asking them to bring Benjamin to him. And then the verse says, "And they did so." And that means, it appears to me that the brothers did this immediately, but in actuality, they went back to Canaan, and it took a long time for them to convince Yaakov to let them bring Benjamin back. And then they say in the next verse, "We are guilty for our brothers." The brothers blame themselves, not Yosef, for their situation, because they understood that Yosef was a God-fearing person. So the lesson that we learn from this is the importance that, when Joseph's brothers went back and reported back to Yaakov, they were able to convince Yaakov that Yosef was God-fearing and that he didn't have malicious intent. Because otherwise, if they didn't think that Yosef was God-fearing, they would have thought that maybe he had some ulterior motive and he had some negative desires against the brothers. And then they wouldn't have been able to convince Yaakov to let Benjamin come back. And if Benjamin didn't come back with the brothers, then first of all, Shimon would never have been released. The family would have starved. But more importantly, the whole story of the brothers coming down with Yaakov eventually to Egypt and residing there, and then for the Jews to be enslaved in Israel and then to be freed by God from Egypt would never have happened. So the lesson to us is to always try to judge people favorably. That if our first inclination is to judge them favorably, then if they deserve to be judged favorably, you'll have done that. And if they don't, you'll at least have given them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully, even if they are not good people, they will change. So judge people favorably, and may you be blessed. Amen.